Matt, do you have the auto tracking on?
Not yet.
Okay. I was just making sure. Oh, there it is. Data video. These cameras are awesome. If you have any questions about it, talk to your Sound Pro salesman. All right. So I have 11 o'clock. Do we want to wait a few minutes or we want to go ahead and roll?
There's one guy walking out, I think, right now, but you can start at him.
All right. Okay, so today we are doing Allen Heath and Sound Pro CQ Series, big audio, small package. Basically, I'm going to go through some of the quick and easy ways to set up the CQ mixing console for band use or for AV, and go through some of the features of why it makes it a really, really high quality audio in a small package. So there are 3 different models of CQ, the CQ 18T, 12T, and 20B. The numbers there tell you how many inputs they have. The T is tabletop and the B is stage box. Although the tabletop, obviously, you can rack mount it, but that's the general gist of it. So you can tell how many channels you have by the number there. 18T gives you 16 mic line inputs and 1 stereo input, hence 18. 6 monitor outputs on tip ring sleeve, a 7-inch multi-touch screen, 3 smart rotaries, and 3 custom soft keys. The 12T is 10 mic line inputs and 1 stereo input, 6 monitor outputs on tip ring sleeve, 7-inch multi-touch screen, and 3 custom soft keys. The 20B obviously has no touchscreen. It's going to be an iPad interface only. 16 mic line inputs with 2 stereo inputs, 20. 6 monitor outputs on XLR instead of tip ring sleeve, and 2 high Z inputs. Now here's a quick breakdown of the things that are the same and the things that are different. One of the things that you will notice is the 18T and the 20B both have built-in Wi-Fi. The 12T does not. It does have a network port, so you can put your own access point on there, but it's just not built in. But this shows you how many effects engines and your monitor outputs, so on. So kind of a quick and easy way to look at how everything lays out. All models in the CQ series are 96K FPGA processing. FPGA processing is the same processing you're going to find in all the big boy consoles, and Allen Heath has brought it to a smaller scale and a much more affordable price point. You have a few things that allow for the average user to set up very quickly, and these are some of the things we're going to go over. Things like quick channels, gain assistant, feedback assistant, effects assist, as well as automatic mic mixing, all built into all of the CQ series. You have Bluetooth audio input, multi-track, play and record via SD card slot. It's also a multi-track USB interface to plug into your computer. You have app control, and you do have stereo record and playback via standard USB stick, and that's across all the models. Now, let's talk a little bit about some of the things that, again, allow for this really, really rapid and easy setup and a quick way to get really good audio. So there's a couple of things. Quick channels versus complete channels. Quick channels are a very easy way to just set up a channel almost instantaneously. It gives you one knob to turn to set a bunch of different parameters. It's kind of a pre-programmed way, and we're going to set up some quick channels when we go to the demo so you can kind of see how that works. But it gives you, application-specific processing, right? You just dial in with one knob. And then you can also take that quick channel and you can convert it to a complete channel, which is what most of us think of as a complete processing channel where you have access to each individual parameter within a channel. So even somebody who does, who's very familiar with setting up a band, can use the quick channel to get there really fast and then convert it over to a complete channel and do smaller tweaks and maybe narrow down your bands of EQ, that kind of thing. So it allows you to get a mix up and running really fast. FX Assist is something that, especially for somebody that might not be super familiar with what effects you need to, how you're going to set your effects up to get the best mix. It's signal conscious for the reverb and delay units, so it can dynamically respond and allow it to all those when you set that up for it to sit in the mix the way that that you probably want it to. And again, you can always go in and tweak those things. Feedback Assistant, a lot of people are familiar with this, but if you're running your own band specifically, this is something that, you show up for a show and you don't know what you're dealing with and might not be the best space to be setting up in. These kind of tools will allow you to be able to not only set it up and tweak out any feedback you might have in the system right off the bat, but also monitor while the show is going on in case anything fires off. It will automatically pull down those frequencies to try to get rid of that feedback in real time. So Gain Assistant. This is a really cool thing that allows you to automatically and accurately set your preamp gain on its own. So it actually listens to the input signal and sets the input gain to the place where you want it. Also, you can keep an eye on your preamp levels so it doesn't peak, right? They're kind of two separate things that do that. But again, when you're setting up your own show, or even as just a front of house guy, you always get maybe that drummer that's a little too active in the middle of the show and starts hitting that snare drum a little harder than you thought he was going to and harder than he did at sound check. Or as a guitar player, that might turn up his amp a little bit in the middle of the show. So this can actively monitor that and keep those things from changing on you on the fly. Okay, so there are obviously accessories for all of this. The cases are really nice cutout foam. There's even, you can see down in the bottom space for the power supplies with elastic around there to keep everything in place and allow you to carry it. There's also rack mount kits for all of them, so you can rack mount them. So who is the CQ Series for? Right. Obviously, as I've said throughout the course of this, live performance, you've got hands-free control by using apps. You've got a lot of smart features. The built-in Wi-Fi on these, the access point on these is incredibly good. I've been at Christopher Melindy, my regional who works for Allen Heath. We have been at shows where we've taken the iPad and wander around big trade shows, and it continues to work. So it's I cannot stress enough how great it is to have a Wi-Fi access point that you can actually use. You would think that would be a common thing, but it's not. So monitor control using the apps. You can actually have other people, mixing their own mixes, which is really well. And the multi-track record and playback is great. You can record all of your shows with just the push of a button and just recording everything to SD card. Mix it down on the console itself if you want to. You could even do that at the end of the night and hand it off to people as a mix, if you have the time. Engineers, producers, and creators, that's where we start getting into that mixing down. Obviously, with an FPGA engine, 96K FPGA engine, you have the high-quality audio that Allen Heath is known for. You do have hands-on control on the 18 and 12T. You can also use it as an audio interface, so you can plug it directly into your computer with whatever DAW you want, record playback from it, all those things. It also has on the 18T, you even have dual headphone outs with individual volume control, so other people can listen, and you could even, use that for tracking or something like that. So, and lastly, installation and AV. Automatic mic mixing, on installations. Very, very frequently used feature. They're rack mountable again, and a lot of processing power in a very small footprint. So think about all those times that if you do install work, all those times that you will that you need something that you have a reasonable amount of channel count, but you need a lot of processing in a very small package. So it really fits into that. So once again, mix smarter, sound better, work faster. All these things are the things that the CQ series kind of brings to the table. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do a demo, and I'm going to have Christopher Melindy, my Vanna White for the day. He's going to be my op, and we are going to take a look at the interface and give you guys a chance to kind of see what's going on. By the way, just to let you know how we're accomplishing this, this is the iPad app. It is exactly the same interface as you will find on the screen. There is really zero difference between the things. So you could set up somebody mixing monitors and somebody mixing front of house with an iPad and the CQ. I mean, it's all very, very easy, very quick, very easy way to do it. So the first thing I wanted to show, because we had talked about the quick channels versus the complete channels. There's a couple of different places that you can do this. You'll notice, first of all, I have all of my inputs are set to be coming from the SD card slot. You can see down there in the bottom corner where it says analog or SD, you can flip back and forth between the analog and the SD card. When you go to the analog, that's where you're going to see your gain assistant. If you had a signal coming in there, you could set it up and it listens for the input signal and then sets the gain appropriately. Okay. However, since we're using a digital signal, you don't have a mic pre there, so can't really show that off too easily. But we went ahead and labeled some channels quickly, so you guys didn't see us running through labeling channels, because how boring is that? But we are going to show you from this configuration page how you can set up a quick channel very, very easily. So from here, you can touch. We're going to do input channel number 14, and we're going to go to our library. And here's our quick channel. So you can select what kind of channel it is. So we just have a regular vocal channel coming in here. So we select that. It's going to name it really quickly. And now if we go from there over to the processing and take a look at the channel here. It's okay. All right. So let's drop in the yeah, let's do a different one here just so we can see it. Yeah, it's doing the complete channel. Do it. We could just do it from the processing side, just to show that it's pretty easy to do. So we'll show you what the quick channel looks like, and you'll see on the processing we selected drums, and under drums you have a bunch of different kind of processing you can put on there. You pick what kind of drum it is. You have one knob that you can turn, and you can actually see the EQ changing in real time across there in the middle. You can also turn on a simple compressor and gate and run with it, right? And you could do that across all of your channels, set up any channel to be any kind of thing, guitar, keys, drums, whatever. So even somebody who's not 100% sure, how do I set up a snare drum to sound like a snare drum through here? You throw it on a quick channel and select snare drum. And, I want a punchy snare drum or, something like that. So like you can see more attack or more body, So very quickly and easily set all that stuff up. Now, if you are somebody who really likes, who understands what they're doing and they're like, I need to tweak that more myself. That's when you would look at a complete channel. And one of the cool things is if you go to like that snare, for example, and pull up the quick channel. There we go. So we have the quick channel there, and let's say, oh, that's close. Turn on the compressor too, just for giggles. That's close, right? But I need to go in there and tweak it some more. Then you can go in and convert that to a complete channel so you have full control. And it says like, yeah, you're about to convert that. And I'm going to say yes. Now you see it goes to what we would think of as a normal, complete channel, but it left your EQ curves and all the things that you had already done in there. So now you can go in and tweak it down even more. So as somebody, like, I like to think that I'm, decent at mixing a band, but presets are not something that I would ever normally do, right? I have my own things of the way I'm going to set stuff up, but I will use these quick channels just to really dial something in a couple of minutes. I can do an entire band and have it dialed in, and then I can start tweaking based on what the band needs, right? So quick channel versus complete channel allows you to do pretty much anything you want. Now, while we're in the complete channel, there's all the normal things that you would think of: gates, parametric EQs, compressors, everything. You can see the send levels on each channel, see where you're sending to. But let's take a second and take a look at the effects real quick. So you have 4 effects engines in there, and you can select what you want those things to be, how you want them to, you can go through and pick a bunch of different, everything from a reverb to a flanger. For all those times you need a flanger on a vocal. It's there, double tracking, all that. So you select what you want it to be. And then you have all of your parameters built in there. Nice, quick, and easy. Right? And it shows everything, all the different ways that you can send to those things. So it's a very quick, very simple way to set everything up, and very intuitive for anybody that's that might not have done things like this before. Okay, we went over quick channels. We went over complete channels. Trying to think. What was the other thing we talked about?
We could show the output processing.
Yes, output processing. There we go. Perfect. So when you're looking at your output processing, you have your normal parametric EQ, and then you have the feedback assistant that I talked about a little bit. We can't really show much of how that works because, again, there's no feedback being coming through the system. But you basically have, you detect the feedback as it's coming in there, and that would be ringing out the system, basically, allowing you to ring out any feedback frequencies that you have in there. And then once you're done detecting those, you can go into the adjust and maybe pull some in and out dependent on maybe it cut too much for some reason. You can pull some of that back into your system. But you also have the live setting, which will monitor in real time the if any feedback fires off from the frequencies that have already been determined or anything new, it can start notching those things out. So that's the real-time feedback assistant in real time knocking those things out. But if you go back to the output processing, you'll also notice that every single input and output has those features with parametric EQ. You also have a compressor and a limiter on all of the outputs there. So full processing that you would expect from any big boy console in a small package. Okay. And there's, let's see. Yes, you can change it from parametric to a graphic if you're old like me and graphics make sense. Just kidding. Sort of. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, let's do that. So let's say you walk into a gig and you haven't worked with anybody before. We've been showing stuff of kind of knowing what the input channels are going to be, and but let's say you're doing a corporate gig. And you have one of these CQs, and you need to do a talking heads kind of thing, very very standard thing for breakout rooms and that kind of thing. What you can do is you can set it up. There are some built-in quick start setups for a few different full channel setups. So if you hit the quick start button, you'll notice that you have all quick, all complete, conference, rock, pop, country, and jazz. So let's say that we're walking in and doing a breakout room and I have all these talking heads. I'm going to select conference, hit recall. And now if I go to take a look at the processing on those, you'll notice that it's all gone to quick channels. And if I touch one of those processing, it's gone to speech. And then I can go in and set some high, mid, low EQing or whatever in there, and maybe a compressor. But it immediately sets up all of those as speech, vocal mics, and you're ready to roll, right? Like we literally just went in there and set it all up. Then the next thing you're going to do, more than likely, is set up the automatic mic mixing for that conference, right? So Vanna's over here turning on the automatic mic mixing with follow fader for all of those channels. And now I'm ready to do this thing. Like that's how long it takes to set up a breakout room conference with a CQ.
That has 16 auto mix?
Yep.
Are they tied together, all of them?
It's one auto mix, yeah. 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 As someone who does a decent amount of breakout rooms, I would assume, that's a really quick and easy way to set it up. Okay, so let's go back to the quick channel, the quick setup, and let's do the all quick thing. So let's say you needed to hand this off to somebody who really doesn't know what they're doing, and you just want to give them some way to interface with it in a really quick and easy way. So if you do the all quick channels, now you go over to your processing and take a look, you basically just have an incredibly simple EQ, the easy EQ that you can put in there, put a high pass filter on and a compressor if you need to. So this is something, you're setting up if you do installation or something. Maybe you're doing an elementary school gymatorium, need something that a teacher can use, that kind of thing. This is perfect for that. Throw it on their iPad, they can roll with it. And it's not intimidating because they can see this all makes sense, right? It's not some massive thing. One last thing, let's do the rock one real quick.
We could also show DCAs and custom layers if you think we got.
Yes, we definitely do. So let's go to quick start and we'll do the rock band one because I like this one. It actually works really, really well. So you'll notice if you look, there's all your drums in a way that makes sense. There's bass, there's a couple of guitars. You drop a couple of channels in the middle for those extra. They're showing up with a keyboard or maybe they have an acoustic guitar or whatever. 3 vocals. Bam. Super easy. Then this is what I do when I've used this for that specific, I'm doing my buddy's rock band. Throw this up, pull them up, do the quick channels for each one, get it kind of dialed in, convert them all over to complete channels so I keep all that processing information, tweak it up in 5 or 10 minutes. I have a full band mix ready to go. Okay. So it really, really fast, easy, great sound, right? Okay, a couple more things I want to talk about. Let's talk about DCAs. We have, is it 4?
4 DCAs.
4, yes, that's what I thought, 4. My brain's not working, I haven't had enough coffee, bear with me. So 4 DCAs, and it's so easy to assign as all Allen Heath consoles are. It's incredibly easy. You just select what channels you want in that DCA, label it, and there you go. So as Christopher is showing, going through each one of the DCAs, you can see down the side, selecting the DCA, name it, whatever you want, and then just touch the channels you want to be in that DCA. Very, very simple. Or effects or outputs, whatever you want in that DCA. Okay. And one of the other cool things that you can do is custom layers. You have 4 different custom layers that you can select, and you can put whatever things you want on those custom layers. That way, if you are running a band and you have to worry about, oh, the lead singer's paying me, so I need to make sure his fader is always in front of me, right? You always want to have the guy paying you that fader under your finger. You put that in there. You might put your DCAs on there, some stereo ends, whatever, right? You can do your own custom layers in any way that you want to, just by selecting what things, right? And now when you look at those custom layers, there you go.
Oops, I took the box off, but you get the picture.
Yeah. But you get the idea there. So very, very easy. Let's talk about mute groups real quick, since we haven't talked about that. You have 4 mute groups that you can set up. Again, just select the mute group, select what you want to be in there. Anything can be in there. You can name it, whatever you want to name it. Very quick and easy way for this console to be able to do big boy stuff, right? You don't see a lot of DCAs and mute groups on 16-channel mixers. So let's see. There was something else. Oh, soft controls. That's exactly what I was looking at. So you do have a few rotaries and soft keys, depending on which one you're looking at. But soft rotaries allow you to be able to assign a specific function to those rotaries, or you can have your smart rotaries turned on, which when you select a channel and it's in smart rotary mode, it gives you gain, pan, and level automatically on the rotaries itself. So you have a quick and easy way to go, jump to those things with a knob instead of having to touch somewhere. You just select the channel and there's the 3 things you're more than likely to touch, But if you go into function when you're on soft rotaries, you can assign different functions to it. So you'll notice you've got a ton of things: gates, headphone level. There's so many different things that you can set up in there. Send levels for maybe the guy that's paying your bills is also constantly telling you, I want this up, I want this down, do this. Well, you could set that rotary to be his send level for each one of those, and you could just, without having to pull out of your mix and go to any other sends on faders, you can just have that knob ready real quick and easy, right? There's so many different things you can do. Soft keys. Again, you get to pick and choose. Obviously, a big one is tap tempo. Set that on a soft button, and pick which effects unit you want to be able to do that on, and what it's going to control. But you also have a ton of other things that you can do. Mute groups is a pretty popular thing to put on a soft button. Obviously, you set up those mute groups. Throwing it on a button's a good idea, But it's your console, you do you. Whatever works for you, right? Let's see. Go over to the network. Just want to show real quick. It does have your built-in Wi-Fi access point, but you also have a network port on here. So if you're doing an installation and you need to deploy it where you're putting it on an existing network, obviously you can do that. It's very quick and very easy to do. And you can, give it a static IP if necessary. Very quick, very easy. I'm trying to think if there's some other things that we could go over here. I think I covered most of the things. Did we have any questions on the live stream? Anybody asking any questions before we get to questions in the room? Okay, the question was, how does Bluetooth work and what do I use it for? The Bluetooth is also built in, and it is basically an input channel. So I use it, I Bluetooth my phone or my iPad to the CQ and use it as walk on or walk off music, right? It's just a Bluetooth connection for some kind of input. Most of the time, like I said, you're going to use it. You're going to be streaming audio from a device to that. In the corporate world, somebody shows up with audio that they need to send from their computer. You could potentially do that, but most of the time, it's a phone or iPad connection for streaming some kind of music or audio. So, hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, and it's just your normal Bluetooth connection, just like everybody thinks about. Anything else? Any questions, Russell?
Add more than one iPad at a time to it.
So, yes.
2 mix pads, and then up to 6 of the 1 mix amps.
Yes.
CQ for you is our
So for everybody on the stream, that's 2 mix pads and up to 6 1 mixes, which are the individual monitoring mixes for auxes and that kind of thing.
called CQ for you.
CQ for you. Thank you. Mix pad.
When you do a quick setup for band,
Mm-hmm.
when you want to go full channel, do you have to do it channel by channel, or can you select all to convert at once?
So, yeah, it's 1 by 1 when you do that. The question was, when you're converting from quick to complete channels, do you have to do it 1 by 1, or can you select a bunch? And the answer is 1 by 1. But it allows you to be able to really, when you're mixing, and I have a tendency to do this, I'll do all the quick channels, and I'll dial all those in, and then while the band is kind of playing around, as bands want to do, and then I'll be like, okay, I need the kick drum, and I'll turn that into a complete channel and see how close I am and dial in a little bit, and just my normal sound check from that point. So that's my workflow, but everybody can have a different thing. Yes.
About the smart feedback detector. Will it kill the frequency by itself, or you have to do it?
The question was on the feedback assistant, does it kill the frequency itself? And yeah, what it does basically is it listens for those feedback frequencies and uses a very tight notch filter and notches it down. So as you turn up the gain and it starts hearing feedback, you can see it grabbing it and pulling it down in the across the, if you look up on the screen there, you can see there's a graph across the top, and you can actually see them pulling down.
It will do it by itself.
Yes. Yeah.
How many filters are there?
There are 16 filters available in the feedback assistant. So 12 can be fixed. So there's more than I've ever needed. That's one of the reasons a lot of this stuff I keep looking to Christopher, because when I use this thing, it does way more than what I need a console like this to do. So I tend to forget how many things are there because it's way more than I need, right? So any other questions about any of this stuff? Didn't even talk about the EQ with the RTA overlay on it. Everybody's kind of used to that these days. But yes, there is an RTA overlay for all the inputs and outputs as well. So
Could show how to mix to monitors.
you guys want to see how to do a monitor mix? Use this for a monitor console? Cool.
I have a question.
Yes.
Are you able to record on this one like you are on the Avantis?
What do you mean?
Like record the show?
Oh, do you mean save a show?
No. Record the music. So
Yes.
You can hear the show later.
Yes. You do have multi-track recording to either SD card, or you can plug your computer directly into it. So with the other consoles, with Avantis or with DLive, I didn't want to go too much into this because we're going to talk about this in the next session, but you do need to have a card running something like a Waves card or a Dante card or a MADI card, something like that for direct recording. The CQ, all you have to do is have either a computer or an SD card, and it's multi-track record. Yeah, I have a tendency to use the SD card and just leave it in there because it's so easy. You just literally every time you turn it on, if you want to record, hit record, and it makes it super, super easy to do. Yeah, there you go. That's how hard it is to multi-track to this thing.
96K.
Yep. 24-bit 96K. Yeah, and there's 24 channels, by the way. So not only can you record the individual channels, you can also record some buses as well. So that's really nice for, you can record multi-tracks and you can record your main left right and have a stereo reference and then a mix later on. So, you know, all from this tiny thing. Kind of incredible. Okay, so we were going to set it up for a monitor mix. So you'll notice the Sends To button on the side. You actually have 6 monitor sends that you can do. So all you have to do is go in and select where those sends are going to. So if you select, you know, out 1, you can send that. That's sends on faders for that. Christopher is naming that, so we know drum wedge. And then you just select that, and that's your sends on faders. So it could not be easier to do a monitor mix here. It's so simple. Yeah, that's right. Actually, it would be all the kick and most of the snare in my understanding. Maybe a little vocal there, but mostly them. So yeah, that's how easy it is. Again, naming all this stuff. Again, with the iPad and the touchscreen being the same interface, you could have somebody as a dedicated monitor guy or girl, gal, whatever, on the iPad, and you could be mixing on the CQ18T from front of house. Very simple because it's got the built-in Wi-Fi access point. So while recording the whole thing. No, the question was, can you link them together? And the answer is no, the CQs can't be connected together in any way. It's a standalone mixer. For stereo?
Yeah.
So,
Oh, sorry.
yeah,
The output buses?
yeah,
Yes.
show the stereo output. Yes, you can. Stereo link. You literally just select them.
Do stereo IEM mixes, so you need
Yeah, of course. So, yeah, you can link them together. So, it's literally a button stereo link. So, yeah, that's a good question. Along with stereo channels, it's kind of the same thing. You literally just select that, you know, that odd mix or that odd channel and hit the stereo link button, and now it's a stereo channel or output. So, with naming capabilities. Which again, whatever he does here, if I go to here and look at it, it's the exact same thing. All those things have been named. All that thing is, everything's happening one-to-one in real time. So you could have somebody doing monitors, somebody doing front of house while you're multi-track recording the entire show for mix down later, and a stereo mix, you know, your left-right mix being recorded at the same time. All of that happening with this.
Any limitations regarding sending effects to the monitors?
No, I mean, there's no real. I mean, you just select the where you want the mix to go, and so Christopher's showing it right there, where you go and select what you want to send to, you know, what mix. So no real limitations. You can send them to whatever mix you want. Any other questions? So yeah, big mixer, small package, right? All right, well, if we don't have any other questions, I guess we can, are there any questions from anybody on the stream? All right, well, I guess we'll go ahead and end it here. The people in the room, you guys are more than welcome to stick around, and if you want to poke around on the CQ a little bit so you can see how it all works, happy to show you anything, but that's the end. So appreciate you guys coming out. Thanks to everybody online, and maybe we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.